Salutations, another sundry affair. I am your cinematic professor and purveyor of truth in movies. And before we begin with tonight's festivities, let me remind you that it is springtime. In spring, you do a lot of cleaning. Hey, what a great time to put our shower curtain and bath mat on sale. Go now to the official Rex Reel store. Here's the URL for you. And you can scope out our bath mat and shower curtain. They are currently on sale. And you can scrub it up dub and get all ready, not only for spring cleaning, but cleaning in general. Would be take a shower with Rex Reel. You'll have a blast. All right, let's get into tonight's meat and potatoes, and we got to start with a review from Poland. And I got to tell you right off the bat that on last week's show, I really chastised the Polish cinema makers because of how they butchered the story of Cinderella in a movie called The Ugly Stepsister. So after doing that, I think it's only fair that I give them kudos for a movie they've released called The Last Spark of Hope. This is a rather intriguing sci-fi tale. You know, like most science fiction stories, this one is very heavily laden with social commentary, mainly because writer and director Piotr Biedron is firmly embedded in the green scam. You see, he graduated from Maria Curie Skłodowska University. He graduated as a lawyer originally, but then he quickly created the BNP Paribas Green Film Festival, and that is dedicated solely to films dealing with the environment. So, in keeping with his personal crusade to return the earth back to nature at the destruction of mankind, the last spark of hope begins when the earth is already in a rebirth. The same false narratives, the temperatures rose, the ice caps melted, and we found out this week that's not true. They're actually adding ice to them. Viruses were released through nature and man. The wealthy and the politicians tried to escape on rocket ships, but they had no destination. I guess that helps you really appreciate Elon Musk, huh? And they died in space. So the only person left on Earth is Ewa, and she is living high atop a mountain above all of the Earth's pollution and bad air and what have you. She's battling extreme loneliness, and she is guarded by Arthur. Arthur is a military robot provided to her by her father just before he died. Okay, that's the scenario. But to really find out about this movie, I think we should peel back the veils of time and head back to the early Cretaceous period for the nation's first and only prehistoric film critic, Rex Reel.
The Last Spark of Hope offers two tropes for sci-fi lovers: man versus nature and man versus machine. Both should make sci-fi geeks extremely happy. Cinematographer Thomas Wozik and editor Marcelli Meager perform yeoman duty behind the camera. Stanislaw Jozak assembles Arthur, and his design is suspect. When Arthur rebels, he does not seem daunting enough to be so problematic. Of course, Ewa is a woman, and that may account for much.
Magdalena Wazorek plays Ewa, and Jacek Beron voices Arthur. Once you pass the ridiculous premises of the green news scam as foundation for the plot, The Last Spark of Hope is a rather engrossing tale, even if Iwa's actions are, let's say, exceptionally suspect. Pietro provides one more political misanthrope pertaining to the salvation of mankind. In order to fool Arthur, Iwa poses as an invader and as a refugee. The robot then concludes that the human race can continue and be successful through, you guessed it, invaders and refugees. This is a concept giving credence to the disastrous immigration policy of the Biden administration. Here's a look at The Last Spark of Hope.
I'm sure that no intruder enters.
And who do you think is the intruder?
It is a simple algorithm. Everyone who doesn't know the password.
Well, it's a very interesting definition. Do you remember when you served at the border during the climate wars? You wouldn't let anyone through. And they were people, not intruders.
They were intruders. They didn't know the password.
What are you talking about? It's like you don't even know what you were built for. During the first climate war, they ran out of water in India. And the temperature rose so much, the people and animals were boiling alive. And what could they do? They had to escape to the places that gave them a chance to survive. And what did the countries of the North do? They placed thousands of robots like you along the borderline. Thousands of robots who executed the greatest extermination of the human race in the world's history. They didn't let anyone through. No one got through. No one. It was genocide of all the people who fought to survive. For themselves, their families and children. Crimson.
Those are lies. Robots cannot harm humans.
You served and led an army of robots during all climate wars. Only your data was simply deleted.